President Joe Biden a winnable candidate for the Democrats in the 2024 presidential election? That is the question being asked after Biden's performance in last week's presidential debate with the Republican rival Donald Trump. In fact, the latest surveys show how support for Biden is on the decline, raising alarm bells within his party, with one of his party's lawmakers demanding he step aside. Biden's post-debate crisis is now evolving into a genuine threat to his re-election bid. And as we analyze how it all went downhill for Team Biden's re-election campaign, let's just take a look at the polls conducted after last Thursday's presidential debate. According to the Ipsos Reuters poll, among 1,070 U.S. adults surveyed online, while 1 in 3 Democrats think that Biden should end his re-election bid, both Biden and Trump maintained their support of 40% of the registered voters, indicating that Biden has not lost any ground since the debate. As for other Democrats, only Michelle Obama, the former First Lady of the U.S., outperformed Joe Biden. That's right. Michelle Obama led Trump 50% to 39% in a hypothetical matchup. This despite her maintaining that she does not intend to run for president. As per the Ipsos Reuters poll, Vice President Kamala Harris trailed Trump by 1 percentage point, that is 42% to 43%. In fact, the statistics showing that Harris is just as strong as Biden, stepping out from his shadows in recent months. Meanwhile, California Governor Gavin Newsom performed marginally worse, trailing Trump 39% to 42% in the survey conducted. Remember, none of the elected Democrats tested against Trump have formally declared their candidacies. Let's now take a look at another poll conducted by CNN as U.S. President Joe Biden wages a desperate bid to save his re-election. 3/4 of the voters saying the Democrats are better off without him. As per the CNN poll, 49% respondents favored Donald Trump, while 43% favored Biden. That's a gap of 6 points. As per the CNN poll, most voters think that the Democrats have a better chance of keeping the White House if Biden is not the nominee. In fact, the poll found that in a hypothetical matchup, Vice President Harris is well within striking distance of Trump, while 47% of the voters support Trump, 45% support Kamala Harris. Among other Democrats who have been mentioned as potential replacements of Biden is the California Governor, Gavin Newsom. He performed marginally worse, trailing Trump 43% to 48%. And with calls mounting to sit out of the race, the White House said that President Joe Biden can bounce back from his poor debate performance last week, adding that there was no need for him to prove his cognitive abilities.
We understand. We're not taking away from what you all saw or what the American people saw. We understand. It was a bad night. It is not uncommon for incumbents to have a bad night on their first debate.
Meanwhile, former U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said that it would be fair for voters to ask if President Biden has a condition or if last week's debate performance was just an episode. This was the first time she questioned the Democratic candidate.
So he has a vision, he has knowledge, he has judgment, he has a strategic thinking and the rest. He has a bad night. Now, again, I think it's a legitimate question to say, is this an episode or is this a condition? And so when people ask that question, it's completely legitimate of both candidates, because what we saw on the other side was a lying.
Meanwhile, a House Democratic lawmaker has become the first in the party to publicly call for President Biden to step down as the party's nominee for president. Lloyd Doggett of Texas said that Biden should make the painful and difficult decision to withdraw, citing his debate performance against Trump, failing to effectively defend his many accomplishments. And this was also echoed by the Democratic leader Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, who said that it was fair to raise concerns about President Joe Biden's fitness after last Thursday's performance. As President Biden's campaign tries to reassure the U.S. voters of his ability to lead.
Tell the truth. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
And I know how to do this job. I know right from wrong. I know how to tell the truth.
With a majority believing he is too old to work in government and must be replaced. The big question is Biden breaking under pressure? And will the Democratic Party replace him ahead of the November 5 elections? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.